It's 31st of March 2023, a bit later this morning. I'll tell you what's happened. Got up, went over to office, set up, me and the anonymous Seagull operative. Johnny weren't there because it's raining, you don't come out in rain, John, but we had the ASO there. We set up, put my hand in my pocket, guess what? No telephone. I'd left it in the house, so here we are, a little bit later, but we're here. Thanks to everybody who tuned in last night. We had some good conversation. It went really well. And today we're going to talk about Charles Bronson. He's 70-year-old. People must be aware that he put in for parole, and yesterday the powers up, he knocked his parole back. He can't have. He's got to stay in prison. I've been having a look. He's an interesting guy. He first went to prison in 1974, age 22. He was sentenced to 7 years and he didn't get out. Well, 1987, due to his bad behaviour in prison. And like I say, 74, he went to Walton, Hull, Ormley, Wakefield, Parkhurst, Wandsworth prisons. In 1978, he was transferred from prison to Broadmoor, then to Rampton, then to Ashworth there, I-Secure Hospital. Well, he got plenty of liquid cash there, I would think, but did they search him? I don't know. He went back to prison anyway. Anyway, like I say, in November 87 he came out. He was back on Civil Street. And then on 7th of January 1988, he was rearrested after just 69 days out. And he was taken back to Leicester on remand. Then he was sentenced to 7 years, another 7 years. Flitted from prison to prison to prison to prison because nobody could hold him. And then in November 92, he was released again. But this time he only lasted 53 days and he was back in. And sentenced to 8 years in September 93 for conspiracy to rob. And he's been to all prisons. Wrecked tape on him. I think he did a couple of roof protests. He did £250,000 worth of damage. I think it was a Belmarsh, I'm not sure. Ripped out roof off, we're chucking him at. I shouldn't laugh because he's not funny, but he was chucking him at all screws and coppers and that, so he must have been frustrated. And then in 2009, he applied for parole and he was refused again, and hence he's still in prison. He's been in there about 50 years. It'll take a year or two. And, well, interestingly, listen to this. The anonymous Seagull operative said he should never come out, and if he comes out, he'll kill somebody. That's a fair opinion. He said a few muddy doggers of things, but I'm not going to say out, because if he gets out, I don't want him to kill the ASO. I'll have to advertise for one of them. Me, personally, I do think he would struggle. After 50 years in prison, he's obviously institutionalised, can't manage. It's a struggle out here. People don't know. There's a lot of people struggling who's never been out of Civil Street. So if you go into an institution like a prison or a hospital or even army, or, you know, they come out, they're always going to struggle. So if he did come out, he want loads of support. I'm sure he's not the angry man he once were. Men at 70 don't go around killing people anymore. We're in the twilight zone. We're no threat to anybody, I'd like to think. So yeah. What do you think? Would you want him to come out and live next door to you? He's not killed anybody. Is it right he should be locked up? I'll tell you something. I can't do him justice in 4 minutes. He's a millionaire. He's got a film. He's had a film. He's wrote a book. And tell me, should he come out? I'd like to know. Have a great day. Wakey, wakey. We'll latey, latey.